card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Out, 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 out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. We're going all the way so you can score more for your trade-in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV today. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
It's time for the Postgame Show from Bronco Nation News. We're breaking down the game with highlights, interviews, analysis, and most importantly, you. Give your thoughts on the game in the YouTube chat or Facebook comments, and we'll include the best ones on the show. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Western Collective Studios. Head down to Western Collective's locations in Garden City or downtown Boise to try some of their delicious beers, including the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the first beer to support an NIL collective. Now let's head out and join BJ Rains for the Postgame Show from Bronco Nation News.
Well, not once, not twice, but 3 times. Alvaro Cardenas finding Omar Stanley for the alley-oops tonight. One in the previous game, too, so that's 4 alley-oops in the last 2 games, and that might have been the prettiest one of them all right there, the one-handed slam from Alvaro Cardenas to Omar Stanley, and our man Abe Jackson predicting that might end up on the top 10 on SportsCenter there.
It could. There's not alley-oops and then a one-handed catch and then kind of on somebody too. Those 3 were impressive.
Boise State wins this one 77-59. This is the Jacksons Postgame Show. BJ Rains with you live at Extra Mile Arena, and Abe Jackson with the Bronco Radio Network. And you just heard him on 670 KBOI calling the game with Bob Bueller, sitting down for a couple minutes here on our postgame show. And scary game kind of first half. They hung around. They had the lead by 1 at the half, but kind of just slowly, methodically pulled away there in the second half and end up with an 18-point win.
Yeah, and I think that's going to happen to quite a few teams in the Mountain West. I think that you're going to go into half against Air Force, and you're either going to be down or you're going to be up by maybe not as much as you expected coming in because of the type of offense that they run. The press, I don't know if they prepared for it. I'm not going to say it took them off guard, but it definitely had an effect on the first half. But then in the second half, this team under Coach Rice, if it's at halftime or some timeouts, they've always adjusted well, and they adjusted to that press, having a release valve of Omar Stanley from half court and then Cardenas running right off of him. They got some fast break points. They got some easy buckets and then just blew it open in the second half.
I think Air Force may petition to have all their home games moved here. I mean, they shoot really well from three-point range whenever they come here. Their final shooting numbers were 54.8%. They hit 7 of 15 threes, and I mean, the score is a lot different if they're not hitting some of those threes. I mean, for whatever reason, last year they came in here and shot pretty well too.
Yeah, they did. It was just a whole lot of turnovers and then just no defense in the paint for the Falcons. In the first half, the Broncos had a 4-point advantage of points in the paint, and they ended up 52-30 of points in the paint. So a 22-point margin of points in the paint, and they only had 4 advantage at half. So the Broncos, and here's the thing too, we talk about 3-point shooting a lot, and rightly so, because that's so much of college basketball and NBA. It's 3-point shooting. But the Broncos have adjusted to really what they are. I don't think they're going to be an elite three-point shooting team, but they're going to be a team that can still score close to 80 points against an Air Force team that slows it down by getting to the free throw line and also getting some easy buckets and dominating the paint. Maybe that's just the style that this Bronco team is going to be. Is they're not going to be a great three-point shooting team, but they're going to find a way to still put up a lot of points.
He's Abe Jackson. My name is BJ Rains. Again, Boise State wins at 77-59. You just heard Bob and Abe call the game over on 670 KBOI, and you probably said Alvaro Cardenas' name a lot. 15 points, but more impressively, 12 assists, his career high, one off the school record, which Leon Rice just told us, and you'll hear this in a minute, that they had them on their stat sheet on the bench for 13, so they think they're going to check, and maybe they did tie the school record there and rewatch the tape, but 12 assists, and just the way the variety of assists. We saw the 3 alley-oops, but he's got the full court passes. He's got the no-look passes. Like, his full, game in terms of his passing ability is something that I've been here 12 years. You've been here a lot longer than I am. I can't remember a guy that's as good of a passer and as unique of a passer as he is.
Well, and what's really impressive about him, and it's not the 12, the 12 assists are, 10 of them were in the second half, is that seems always under control. We've had point guards in the past that are really good point guards, but there's sometimes you're just like, just keep in control or keep your dribble alive. You can tell that he's a veteran, that he has played a lot of Division I basketball games, most of those at San Jose State, but we're seeing what Al Cardenas can be when he is surrounded by other really good players. When you don't need him to score 20 a game like they did at San Jose, he can facilitate and get some other guys some buckets, and he did a fantastic job of that. And also credit some of the other guys. You can't have a lot of assists unless you're shooting a good percentage, and the other guys were knocking down the shots. Now, these 3 alley-oops that you're showing again, those are pretty high percentage shots, but he just got the ball to the right guys on the right spot on the floor, and then the other guys did the rest.
The connection that he has with Omar Stanley, I think you had the 3 dunks. There were a couple other assists too. 6 of his 12 assists, I think 6 or 7 might have been to Omar Stanley. Just that unique connection with those two guys having. What will these alley-oops were essentially the same play, rolling off the pick and roll. What will defenses now have to start accounting for, and what will that open up for Alvaro if the team they can't sag down? I guess.
Well, I think that'll open up some driving lanes for Cardenas, because now you're going off an on-ball screen from Omar Stanley, and Omar Stanley's defender is hedging out and making Alvaro go maybe away from the hoop instead of turn and go downhill. But when you do that, now that he's rolling to the hoop hard, speaking of Stanley, and Cardenas is throwing it up there, you can't hedge as high with your big guy who's guarding Stanley. So in that case, Omar sets the on-ball screen. The big guy can't hedge as far. Now Cardenas can maybe even turn the corner, and other things can open up, or he can hit that floater or get to the hoop. So I think there's a lot of things that defenses are going to have to look at after this game on how you guard Cardenas, the way that he's hitting the floater inside and then also dishing it to the other players.
And I know we mentioned on the pregame show, but it sure is nice to have last year's version of Omar Stanley back as well, and just what he's able to do. And we want to say we haven't seen a guy with the passing ability of Cardenas in a while. We haven't seen too many guys with the ability to go up and get it and slam it down like Omar has.
It's nice for Cardenas too, because you can put it in about a 4-foot radius or so, and he'll just go up with those long arms and his jumping ability and be able to catch the ball. So it's really nice to see Stanley starting to get back to himself. And again, we talked to Al Cardenas on the radio show on the post game. It's a work in progress. He's had a lot of basketball and a lot of Mountain West basketball, but not with these guys. So really, he's a brand new face, and we're 12 games in, and you can see almost every game them getting more used to each other, playing with each other in a game scenario better. And this afternoon, it's about as good as it has been all year long. Probably the best game from Stanley and Cardenas combined.
Still only 3 of 13 from 3-point shooting. Boise State did have 7 turnovers in the second half, limited that to 12 there in the second half, but they did dominate 52-30 in the paint, 12-4 in second chance, 10-3 in fast break, but only 14 points off the bench tonight. The rotation was cut down a little bit. I know Julian Bowie was sick, so he did not get a chance to play. Some other guys were out there. We didn't see quite as much from Keene tonight. He had 17 minutes, but Cardenas 39, Meadow 35, Degenhart 32, but 25 minutes for Javen Buchanan, 10 points. I thought he came off the bench and had a nice game.
Yeah, I think he did too, and I think there's probably a couple shots he wishes he could have back that he got to the point-blank range and they just rolled off the hoop. But I think this is something that you're going to see throughout the years, that you're going to see, well, why didn't Keene play as much, or why didn't XYZ play as much? It's because when something's rolling, Coach Rice sticks with it, and it was rolling with Javen Buchanan out there and the other 4 players, and so he just rolled with that pretty much all the second half. Tyson did a nice job of staying out of foul trouble. fumble, picked up his second foul with 6 minutes left in the first half. And that's when it went a little bit downhill, and that double-digit lead got cut to, well, being behind and then getting a 1-point lead at half. So Tyson had a nice game. And what's kind of funny about Tyson, right? I mean, what does he have? He has 19 points, 7 of 10 shooting, 4 of 6 from the line, 24 minutes played,
6 rebounds.
And what are we, 5 minutes into the show and we haven't even mentioned him yet? I mean, he's just a consistent guy that, I mean, you take a look at his line and it's almost that you're so used to it, you forget how good he is because he just delivers pretty much that every game.
Yeah. I asked you on the pregame show about this, but the game before Christmas, and some guys are flying out tonight. Leon said they're flying out tomorrow morning. They're going to go home for a couple days. Just now, what does that say, I guess? Because they've had games, whether it's at Washington State or some of these, they've lost that kind of pre-Christmas game, and it obviously gives you a poor taste in your mouth for the next 3-4 days going home for the break. But to stay focused, lock in, get the win, and then be able to kind of enjoy a 3-game winning streak here for the break. What does that do for this coaching staff and for these players?
Well, it makes the break a whole lot better. I mean, there's nothing better than getting away from the team during the holidays, but having that after a win. And so, but I think that's probably expected with this team. I think we're going to take a look back at that first half of the Washington State game and say that was kind of an anomaly. That won't really happen like that again for the rest of the season. At least I don't think so. With this veteran type team, I think you're going to see some really good second halves, and first halves are a little bit different. Feeling out process. We've seen it a couple times with this Bronco team, but then the better teams, the more athletic and just really the more cohesive teams have the ability to get a good second half. And the Broncos have done that the last couple of games.
What does it mean, if any, the significance of being 1-0 in conference play? I mean, this was the preseason league favorite. And as we talked about, you're playing 3 of the, teams not projected in the top part of the standings to be 3-0, but you want to win a conference championship. You're the predicted league favorite, and you start out atop the standings at 1-0.
It's where you want to be. I mean, you couldn't have drawn it up better. There was some adversity. There was some adjustments that had to be made. This veteran team came out in the second half and really just dominated the entire 20 minutes of the second half, and you're 1-0 in league, and that's exactly how you want to be at this point in the season.
And now they head on the road for a couple of games after the break.
Yep.
I'll be in San Jose, so we can talk about this then. But they're going to come back on Christmas Day, have a couple of quick practices, and then go to the Alvaro Cardenas homecoming there in San Jose.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to talk with him about that. And I know that you're probably going to be asking him some questions. Yep. I wonder if they're going to make him available for media coming up to that game, because they know that there'll be questions about that. And I'm sure he'll have some mixed emotions. I mean, not a lot of wins at San Jose, but a place that he was for multiple years. So I'm sure he has some good feelings about that place. But I think I can speak on behalf of all of Bronco Nation that we're pretty glad that he came over here to Boise.
Oh, my God. Someone even said it. They said, BJ, you deserve an apology from everyone who got on your case for hyping up the Cardenas transfer. He's been the perfect ad. There were people when they got him that just said, oh, he's San Jose State, just kind of if you watch the games and you talk to any Mountain West coach, he was one of the best 3 or 4 point guards in the conference last year.
The people who have said that, no offense to someone who have said that, but you probably didn't watch any of the San Jose State games, because if you did, he would be almost the only person that jumped off of the screen or off of the court to you watching.
Then I heard, he's doing it against bad. He's on a bad team, putting up numbers and all this. I mean, they even those that wanted to justify it that way.
Well, I mean, again, that's just from someone who hasn't watched a lot of Al Cardenas play, because even though he was on teams that weren't that successful, he was the only one that jumped out of the page as someone who played hard, someone who was consistent for that Spartans team.
And it's just his competitiveness. And
he's a fiery dude.
He even had another one today where the guy kind of slapped at his arm, and he kind of, he wasn't afraid to back down.
It's almost the perfect amount of fiery and not losing control and not going over the top of your emotions. It always seems like he's in control with his game and his emotions. It gets a little bit high. We saw that last year. Him and Max Rice got tied up under the hoop. Yeah. They went chest to chest, and I think the coaches from Boise State saw that, and they're like, we want some of that on our team next year.
And I think that as much as he's doing, like, he was only 1 for 5 from 3-point range tonight. He came in, 40% from 3 last year, I believe, or close to it. Like, I still think there's more to his offensive game than we're seeing.
And I think he's just asked to do a little bit different things. They ran plays for him at San Jose State to get him specifically open from 3. I don't know how many plays like that are being run here, because we have other players that can shoot and other players where you can get the ball inside. So they're asking him to do some different things, but you're right. He's a better shooter than 1 of 5, but when you have 12 assists You give me 12 assists a game, you can go 1 for 5 from 3. I'll take that.
And Andrew Meadow quietly has, it's kind of similar to Degenhart, but a quiet 14 points for him.
Well, and what I really liked about Meadow is that a couple of his buckets and a couple of his free throw attempts came from dribbling and driving to the hoop. You knock down some threes, you're going to be on everyone's scouting report that you're basically the guy who shoots threes for this Bronco team. You knock one down or even just give a quick shot fake and get someone leaning. He showed the ability tonight or this afternoon to get into the paint, to dribble and finish at the hoop, or to get some fouls.
What would you say to Bill Tyree rules? This might be controversial. I feel like Meadow's the best three-point shooter on the team, but consistently jacks up bad threes. Once in a while, he rushes. There's in transition or something. Maybe
there could be but when you're a shooter, there's going to be those shots. And I know you talk to the coaching staff, and I've heard Coach Rice say this: is that if you're the shooter on the team, they've seen Andrew Meadow make so many threes in practice, and he put in so much work. Part of his job is to shoot those 3-pointers, even if sometimes they're challenged. You have to do that. You always have to be a threat. You might go 1 for 8, you might go 5 for 8, but you have to be a threat from the 3-point line. Once you're not even a threat and taking those shots, then the offense gets a little bit stagnant, and all they have to do is pack the paint. I will say that there could be some ill-advised shots from Andrew Meadow, but I like where his game is at overall right now.
And somebody else commented that is coaching hurting the team's confidence shooting the three. Too much talent to be shooting this poor. What do you see in terms of the 3-point percentages, and how much of that do you put on the coaches?
Boy, I don't know. That's not really a tough question because I don't really think I don't think there's anything confidence-wise with this team. I mean, there are too many veteran players and too many guys who've played too much Division I basketball to have a confidence thing. I mean, I think it's kind of coming down to it that this isn't an elite 3-point shooting team. And the numbers are showing it this far into the season, but that's okay. They're averaging 80 points a game. They put up 77 points against Air Force, who's only giving up, I think, 67 points a game so far this year. So they're finding ways to score. They're finding ways to win. They're averaging beating teams by over 13 points a game. So when you're not shooting the three well, you got to do some other things really well, and they're knocking it out of the park. They're shooting 56% from 2 on the season. They shot 63% from 2 this afternoon. So you're finding ways to get it done when the three's not falling.
Meadow, as Crash points out, still shooting 36% from 3. Boise State now 6-0 at home this season. All 6 wins by double digits. And that's their 9th straight win over Air Force. Next home game, though, they'd love to win that one by double digits.
That'd be really nice. And what would really be nice is if you come into that against San Diego State and you get the win at San Jose, you get the win against Wyoming and Laramie, you're 3-0. I'm assuming we'll be at the top of the Mountain West being 3-0, and then have San Diego State come in here for a great afternoon game on a Saturday.
Final thing, our 248, but Tyler wants to know what do you attribute to the slow starts? Wrong rotation combinations, what he's suggesting maybe.
I think that especially with an Air Force team, they're going to do that to a lot of different teams in the Mountain West. We talked about it right when we got on this show, is that I would not be surprised if you look at the halftime scores and it's either closer or they're ahead of some teams that you think are going to beat them. One, I think it's because playing against an Air Force team is much different than coming up with a game plan and watching it on film. They take the air out of the ball. You have to shoot a good percentage or you're not going to score very many points. They take the air out of the ball. They back screen. They're a tough team to guard. And you saw tonight, they can shoot the ball. And so I think it was a slow start, but I think I attribute that to Air Force. I mean, you don't just start a basketball game up by 30. It's a full 40-minute type thing, and the first 20 was an adjustment period, and the Air Force Falcons, they did a nice job. They had the press on there. They frustrated the Broncos on defense. They ran the shot clock down with their defense on the Broncos about 4 or 5 times, and so a 1-point lead from the Broncos, probably not what was expected, but then you just got to take a look at the adjustments that were made, and the Broncos ended up having a fantastic second half.
And for all the struggles they've had and stuff, I mean, they're a Mountain West team.
Exactly. I mean, exactly. Yeah, they're a good team, and you do see that sometimes with some maybe teams that you expect the Broncos to just completely wipe out from the tip all the way to the end and just 20-point lead the entire time, but it just doesn't quite happen like that. Air Force is going to be towards the bottom of the Mountain West, but they are a Mountain West team, and they're going to get. I think they're going to get some wins against some teams that you might not expect.
It seems like they always do. But by the way, speaking of run down the shot clock, I love that Alvaro Cardenas kind of step back 3.
The rainbow, the one that was like touching the rafters. That thing was up there. Yeah,
that was a great shot there. Abe, have a great holidays.
Yeah,
man.
You too,
Appreciate
BJ.
you. We'll see you in San Jose. Hope you get a some time with the family here, and hardest working man in town here with,
with
all your other stuff and what you're doing with the team. So hopefully we'll see you in San Jose. Appreciate you for coming on as always and spending part of your Saturday with us, and always more fun to talk to you after a win.
Wins are better.
Appreciate it, man.
Thanks, BJ.
There he is. We want to thank a couple of our sponsors at Western Collective, and we'll get to the post-game interviews here in a second. But Western Collective, our studio sponsor, check them out, the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the Orange Chaos Seltzer. If you're looking for a spot to watch the Fiesta Bowl, they've got a watch party at for the Fiesta Bowl on December 31st there at their brewery in Garden City. So go check them out, the Horseshoe Collective. Golden Ale and Orange Chaos Seltzer available here at Extra Mile Arena. And as always, a portion of the proceeds goes to benefit the Horseshoe Collective, putting money back in the pockets of the student athletes at Boise State. RowPaint.com, our title sponsor. There would be no Bronco Nation news without RowPaint.com. Check them out, ROEPaint.com, our title sponsor. All your painting needs, those concrete coatings, those interior, exterior painting, all your painting needs, they've got you covered. Again, support the title sponsor, folks, RowPaint.com. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. They've got an NIL deal with Tyson Degenhart, and their online banking is just so easy to use. The Raines family just wishes we made the switch sooner. ICCU.com, there's a branch pretty much on every corner, but you really don't need to go in there very much aside to set up your account because you can do it all right there from your phone or your computer. The easiest online banking experience you will have. Support the sponsors. Check out Idaho Central Credit Union. We'll be picking our Matt Bauscher player of the game coming up in a little bit. If you've got a candidate for a player of the game, give us your 1, 2, and 3 if you want. Or who's your Bauscher real estate player of the game? Omar Stanley, 15 points, those 3 dunks. Degenhart, 19 points, 6 rebounds. Meadow had 14 points, 15 points, 12 assists for Cardenas. You got 10 points for Buchanan. Who's your Bauscher real estate player of the game? Let us know in the ICCU YouTube chat there, and we'll get to that here shortly. But Bauscher Real Estate, number 1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. Check them out online at BauscherRealEstate.com. Ridley's Family Markets, ShopRidley's.com. They got locations across the state of Idaho. Check them out. ShopRidley's.com. It's download up to you save up to 40% off at the checkout line using that Skip app that they have. Download that in your smartphone. ShopRidley's.com. Locations in the Treasure Valley, Magic Valley, state of Idaho, and surrounding states. Check them out at ShopRidley's.com. Snake River Pool and Spa, Patio and Game, Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa. Been around since 1978. Part of the Boise State home team. You can, whether it's a spa, whether it's a sauna, whether it's a pool table for the game room, they got you covered. Check out their full inventory online at Snake River Pool and Spa at thespateam.com. We are back on the Jacksons Postgame Show. We're taking your comments. We're taking your thoughts, your questions, whatever you got for us, your criticisms. Mike says the scoring was evenly distributed. So wild to see the stat line. That's good to see. 5 players in double figures, all between 10 and 19 right there. Super, super impressive there. Tyson Degenhart was a plus 24, the best on the team tonight. Omar plus 21. Believe it or not, Cardenas, well, he was plus 18, but I guess he played 39 minutes and 2 seconds, so he was in there for the final plus 18 margin there. But looking at some of the other stats here, I mentioned earlier, Boise State only up 32-31 at the half, then pulls away with a 45-28 advantage in the second half to win 77-59. The Broncos, the same problem that's been the problem all year long, 3-point shooting, just 3 of 13, and certainly just think one of those games where Boise State again didn't shoot great from 3, and they haven't shot great from 3 all season. But it is what it is. And let's see, looking like with the midday game, it'll work out, BJ, with these 2 playoff games being a snoozer. So I think Texas is up a decent amount. Haven't seen the score there, but maybe we'll get home in time to watch what should be a good Ohio State game against Tennessee. Boise State will be playing Penn State in the Fiesta Bowl on December 31st. We mentioned that on the pregame show. That'll be a fun one. We'll have plenty of football coverage coming up later this week. But here at Extra Mile Arena, 77-59, Boise State takes down Air Force. We talked a lot about Omar Stanley and Alvaro Cardenas. Let's hear from those 2 guys here on the postgame show.
It's, the 12 assists today. I mean, career high, I think, for you. Just the connection, obviously, 3 times on the dunks. How obviously you feel pretty good in terms of distributing the ball.
Yeah, man. Honestly, I've been feeling good distributing the ball since I got here. Like, I feel like I'm passing the ball much better than I even was at San Jose, and that's a lot of credit to my coaches because they put me in position to make plays. And then guys like Omar and Tyson, it's just so easy to play with them. They know exactly what to do. I feel like me and Omar had like 6 assists together. So it's just shout out to them, man. It's so easy playing with them.
Just going off about Al, San Jose State, you guys kind of have to be perfect to win. With Boise State, do you feel like you have a little bit more freedom to, play some cooler, better, more fun passes?
Most definitely. I mean, that's just the reality of it. I feel like I can get in my state of flow a lot more often, and I'm just playing so free. And it's amazing to have a coach that, just lets me play through mistakes and allows me to be myself, and that's what Coach Rice does.
Omar, we asked Al about your guys' connection on those alley-oops yesterday, 3 more of them today. How's that connection working, and just what's the chemistry like between you two?
Good googly moogly. I mean, this guy is just crazy, right? Like, he's just, man, I said earlier this summer, like, he's one of the, best, like, he's probably the best point guard in the conference, right? One of the best point guards in the nation. Like, he makes our job easy, you know what I mean? Like, and our connection is probably, it started this summer, you know what I mean? Like, after practice or after our workouts, we would, work out individually, you know what I mean? Just us two. We would just, and the good thing is that we're both able to take criticism. You know what I mean? Like, we are very open to talking to each other. You know what I mean? Like, we don't take it as, like he's, being like rude or whatever. We're not soft. You know what I mean? Like, we're very, very open to taking criticism, and that's just what we do. Going into halftime, he said he had some words. You know what I mean? He had some words of encouragement. He had some, some things he had to say. You know what I mean? And so we listened and we went out and we kind of changed the pace, and that's how we did it. Yeah.
How much do you guys practice alley-oops?
You said how much?
Yeah, like you guys set time up specifically to work on.
I mean, we did more of it this summer, but that, we're both really, really good players, and so we kind of just have a feel for it. You know what I mean? I think if you don't really need much practice when you're both, naturally good.
Al, just some of those passes you're playing, it's get alley-oops, it's bounce passes through the paint for the backdoor layup and that. Are you going down the court envisioning that, or is it something just split moment you see a play and do it?
Yeah, no, I feel like if I try to do that, then I would play worse. You know what I mean? Like, basketball is a reaction game, and you just got to, like, feel it out. If I'm thinking about what I want to do in the play, it's probably not going to happen because it's so unpredictable. You don't know what the defense is going to do. I definitely watch a lot of film, and I try to see what coverage, people are going to throw at me. I've seen a lot of, like, hedge and stuff like that. But I feel like with these guys that we're in drop a little with those bigs, if Omar, I just tell him get behind the defender, and it's going to be a lob. But yeah, I try not to go with that mentality, just react and play free without thinking too much.
Overall, they hung around, obviously, 1-point game at the half. What was not going great there, and then how did you flip the script in the second half?
I mean, let's get it straight. Like, they are a Mountain West team. You know what I mean? Like, they are really, really good. It doesn't matter, what their projections are, whatever it is. Like, it doesn't matter what the history is. They're going to come in, they're going to compete, and obviously Air Force is going to compete until the very, very end, which you guys seen. But I think the difference was, like we said, going into halftime and kind of setting a tone, kind of remembering who we are and the style of brand we play in Boise State basketball.
Do you remember last year's game here against Air Force at all? I don't know
Yeah.
if it came up, but you guys were only up 2 late first
Exactly.
half and then blew them out.
Exactly. Same thing. You know what I mean? Like, we can't ever, take it for granted,
You guys, before Al hit that shot right before the end of the half, it was a stretch of a 2 for 11 from the field. Just, coming out in the second half, how important was it to really get those shots under you guys?
Yeah, but I think it was overall the flow of the game. Like, they took us out of, with their press, they kind of messed with us, and we weren't able to get into a rhythm that we would get late into the shot clock, and it just wasn't, like great pace in our offense. And shout out the coaches, they made a great adjustment in the second half. We were able to punish their press. So I think it's a lot of credit to them for, the adjustments they made.
Yeah.
I know it's one game, and just to be 1-0 in conference and start on a positive note in conference play. I mean, how's it feel?
Feels amazing, man. I mean, our mindset is just 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, and then the wins will stack up. But, I mean, it's a great start, and now we got another one next Saturday. But we have a little bit of rest during Christmas, and it's much needed.
You going back to KC, Omar?
Yeah.
What this game right before Christmas? Sometimes, like, guys got flights maybe tonight or tomorrow, or thinking about getting out of town. It doesn't always go well. Like, are these tough, kind of tricky, tough games to play when everyone's thinking about going home for a couple of days? Or?
I mean, not really. We really don't like to put that in the air. You know what I mean? That kind of bad juju. But for the most part, we kind of like, it's basketball. It's a long season. You know what I mean? Like, it stretches over 3 seasons, and so we take the breaks as we can. You know what I mean? We had a couple times last year where Coach Leon was like, all right, like we need like 2 or 3 days off. You know what I mean? And so he's really good with that, with being able to take care of our bodies, and he understands we're more than basketball players. You know what I mean? Like, we got lives, we got families. You know what I mean? And so that's just what it is. So we're gonna go home and take this rest and think about Saturday when it comes to a couple days before when it comes.
Your family's here, right? You staying here then? Or?
Yeah, I'm staying here. A couple of my friends came too. So I mean, it's great to be able to see them because I barely get to see them during the year.
I love it.
Great googly moogly. That'll be the lead
Thanks,
quote
guys. Go
for my
Bron-
post-game story here. That's how Omar Stanley. I asked him, how do you describe what you're seeing from Alvaro Cardenas? And it was great googly moogly. So yeah, that was I need to get NIL shirt with the dunk and the phrase. There you go. That's actually not a bad idea there. So it's been pretty impressive. Like we'll show it again. Three dunks. Three alley-oops all in a similar play. They roll to the basket, and no one comes over to help out on Omar. And it's this was the best one, the one-handed one. Boom. Wow. Omar Stanley. Oh my, Omar, I think I heard somebody say, and that is correct as well with the three dunks. Again, Stanley finishes 15 points, 6 rebounds. Cardenas, 15 points, 12 assists for Alvaro Cardenas. Just a super impressive game from him. Let's hear from Leon Rice in just a second, but before we hear from the head coach, I want to tell you about the all-wheel drive sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. Weather's getting cold, getting icy, getting snowy. You need to have those four-wheel drive, all-wheel drive vehicles that are equipped for the conditions at Lithia Ford of Boise. Check them out online, lithiafordboise.com. Do your research, get all your stuff ahead of time, be ready to go. And then when you go in there, you test drive it, and you're on your way in no time. So they got 6 NIL deals with student athletes, some coaches, administrators. Return the favor when you're looking for that next car or truck purchase. Make it at Lithia Ford of Boise. Taco Bell, perfect night to go get some Taco Bell for the family. Saturday night, I may pick some up on the way home myself. TacoBellWorks.com. Love the Cantina Bowl. My wife and I love that. We substitute the lettuce for the rice and beans, and we're eating healthy, and you can still do that at Taco Bell. And my kids love the cheesy roll-ups, the taco chicken cheese tacos, all the slushies and things. TacoBellWorks.com. Check them out. The SON Management Group, the Nicolason family. I saw the Nicolason family at the game today, so always enjoy seeing the crew. And again, Taco Bell is also hiring, so if you're looking for a job, check them out. Get more information online at TacoBellWorks.com. Speaking of jobs, Transportation Compliance Service, transcomservice.com. If you want to get into the trucking industry, check them out. Transportation Compliance Service can help you with all the permits and DOT, overweight, everything you need to get out there towing that first load in no time. Check them out, transcomservice.com. Going to hear from Leon Rice in just a second. We mentioned Boise State now knows they're playing Penn State in the Fiesta Bowl on December 31st, and you can get your Fiesta Bowl gear at the Blue and Orange Store, theblueandorangestore.com. Check them out for all your Fiesta Bowl gear. That Please Count Us Out shirt. And I heard Danny Cannell doesn't think the game will be close. So for everyone that's counting out Boise State, maybe that's the unofficial kind of shirt there. Maybe you should get that orange one. It'd be a perfect shirt to wear to the game. Please count us out. You can go to the Boise Town Square Mall, the second floor next to Pro Image. They've got all the shirts and things right there in the store. Huge selection. Or you can order online from anywhere in the world at the Blue and Orange Store.com. And great Fiesta Bowl gear, great selection. And the best thing about them is they have a lot of options in orange. You're supposed to wear orange to the game, and a lot of the shirts are not orange. They're blue and black, and I know they only show one in the picture, but they have a big selection of orange Boise State shirts for the game. So make sure you check those out, and you can get those at the Blue and Orange Store and online at the Blue and Orange Store.com. Again, we're back here at Extra Mile Arena, 77-59 win for Boise State. Coach Leon Rice meeting with the media after the game. First, he had to get his football fix, wanted to know the scores of some of the games and things. But again, Boise State only 3 of 13 from the foul line, but again, 16 of 21 from the free throw line. Shot well from the foul line overall for the game, shot 53.7%. Had the rebounding battle, 30-21. A lot of the stats are in Boise State's favor. Air Force just made some shots. Air Force was 60% from the field in the first half, 50% from the field in the second half, 54.8% from the field for Air Force, and Air Force hit 7 3-pointers on 15 attempts. So if Air Force doesn't hit a couple of those 3-pointers, this is a much bigger spread than it was for Boise State. The biggest lead of the game was 19 points for Boise State. Their biggest scoring run was a 9-0 run in the second half. Early in the game, there were 3 lead changes and some ties, but Boise State led the game for 37 minutes and 30 seconds, and just a dominant game when it's all said and done, winning by 18 points and starting 1-0 in Mountain West play. Let's hear from the victorious head coach, Leon Rice, meeting with the media after the game.
These games right before the break where guys got flights out maybe tonight or tomorrow, they're thinking about being with their family and stuff. Are those ever like tricky games right before the break?
Yeah, I think we do a reasonably good job of that, but I had a good feel the way we approached it and the way, we had a little bit of sickness. That's why Julian didn't play tonight. He was really sick the last 2 days. And, Air Force is not a game that you can just show up and play. have never, maybe Tyson could or Al could because they've played against him for 4 years. But if you've never played against him before and you're not here to prep, it's pretty tough. So, but also, when I was going back and scouting our last year's games against them, they were almost identical to this. We ended, you forget about that because you're like, oh, wait, we won by 30-something. And then when I watched that film, they were ahead 27-25. And then our run was amazing. And so you just can't let that frustrate you. And you can't, you just got to keep sawing wood and possession by possession and wear them out a little bit. And I thought we did a pretty decent job of that because, we didn't make a ton of shots tonight, a ton of threes, and we just were pretty workmanlike with our offense and did some good stuff, though. Got high percentage shots, shot 60% in the second half. But, yeah, I thought our guys did a real nice job, and I thought the staff and the players did a great job of adjustments in the second half. We adjusted to their press a little bit better and attacked it, and we got some good buckets out of that. And then, we switched some stuff on defense that I think helped us a little bit. So, but it was the guys that, they just kept grinding and did a good job second half.
Was that the message at halftime? Just kind of keep at it?
Yeah, like I said, we made, like I said, slight adjustments, and you got to every game. And our guys are good at that because we did that. Some stuff helped us, but it was their mindset that no panic, no, just keep sawing wood.
You've been waiting for a huge game from Al for a while, and now you got it tonight. Just what can you say about the way he?
Well, the synergy with him and Omar was really encouraging because, that I felt that coming, and it's one of those. You just need to play with guys for the more you can play. We tried to play a lot in the fall and get these guys used to each other. But like I always say, there's nothing like game experience. Well, they got really comfortable with each other because you have to. I mean, Omar knows now that, hey, if I roll hard and jump, he's going to throw it, and away we go. And Al's getting comfortable with that. So, he was so effective. They had him down for 12 assists. We had him for 13, which would tie the school record. So there will be an inquiry. But no, we did some really good stuff. Shot 60% in the second half, and we were really, really efficient. And, we've got a lot more growth we can do, both offensively and defensively. And the beauty of it now is because you played an afternoon game, these guys can get out tonight. And some of them are, a lot of them are, and then they get home and they get 3 full days at home, and then we're back on Christmas Day. So we'll come back refreshed, ready to go, and ready to pick up where we left off. Because right after Christmas, you got a league game on the road.
Who do you petition to get that? Is it the Mountain West that you petition to for the extra?
No, I don't know. It's the film, and if it's an assist, it's got to be an assist. So.
Outside of the numbers and the stats and everything, just how fun is Alvaro to watch?
Oh, isn't he great? Yeah, it is. It's so great when you have a point guard that as a coach, we've seen a lot of pictures. We know what the patterns are. We know what's going to happen usually before it happens, kind of. And you're like, oh, I hope the guy makes that play. With Al, he makes those plays almost before you can see them. You're like, whoa, where's he throwing that one? Whack, And, when you break it down, too, we haven't made the shots we're capable of making. I can't wait to see a game where everybody starts making shots and, he could end up 15 to 20 assists. I mean, the way he's playing. And so I just but I've always loved, like I said, we saw him from afar and you're like, that guy knows how to play. But I love his toughness and his competitive grit and his leadership and all those intangibles that you need from a quarterback, and he's got it.
Have you had a guy like, whether it's the alley-oops, whether it's the full court passes or the thread in the needle, just the different variety of passes that he can make, and very rarely is he off with that, and you probably would take that once in a while. But
Yeah, absolutely.
The alley-oops, and all that. I mean, have you had a guy, when was the last time you've been around a guy that makes some of those passes that you make?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't. Right, and that's where the parts all fit together. But can't think of a.
This is not disrespectful, but you had some seasons, I'm not sure you had 3 alley-oops all season.
No,
And you had
but
3 in a game.
right. I mean, we've had great players that had their own strengths, but maybe not the point guard, true point that we're seeing right now. And that's what I felt about him all along, and that's what got me so excited about him. And so that's a really neat thing to watch, and so much fun to be able to coach that. And but it's also the parts of all our players too. He brings out the best in Omar brings out the best in him, Tyson, and on and on and on. Each guy, Meadow, and he's figuring out the strengths of all these guys and making them better, and they're making him better. So it's coming together. And then that's what one of the things that we tell our guys is you got nobody can have unnecessary turnovers, because we want Al to be able to play with freedom so he can have some of those. And everybody agrees to that. They're like, yeah, let him throw some of those. We want him throwing those. So the other guys have to kind of make sure we're not just throwing into the bleachers, because then, he's the only one on the team that we really want with a high turnover game, because when he has a high turnover game, there's probably going to be a lot of assists.
I know it's one game, whatever, but you guys were the preseason Mountain West favorites to be in league play now and win the first one. Is there any significance to being 1-0 in league?
Oh, absolutely! It's a heck of a lot better than Christmas 0-1. That, and I know, their Air Force beats people. They do, and when you least expect it, usually too. Like, how many times has that happened where they're playing at somewhere and you're like, oh, they might not have a chance tonight, and then they win those. I mean. The examples are endless, because I've been in this league for a while, and so we never ever underestimate them. And Joe does a great job with those guys, and it's America's finest. They're never going to quit, and they're tough, and they're they get better and better and better as the year goes on, because they just keep plugging away, and they keep doing their job. You can sleep good at night with guys like that out there.
Well, Leon Rice will sleep good tonight after a 77-59 win over Air Force. Boise State 1-0 in Mountain West play, and I was going back and adding it up. I believe that's 12-3 in Mountain West openers in the Mountain West era, but I have to go back and triple check that. It's either 12-3 or 11-4, but pretty good record for Boise State in Mountain West openers. And again, the Broncos now 1-0 in Mountain West play, get a nice break for the holidays, and then a chance to improve to 2-0 and maybe 3-0 with a couple winnable games coming up here after the break against San Jose and Wyoming. And you get two of those tricky ones out of the way on the road too, if you're able to find a way to get them done. This is the Jacksons Postgame Show. Make sure you hit up Jacksons for all your cold drinks, snacks, and 25 cents from every hot dog sold at Jacksons goes to support the Horseshoe Collective at Boise State. So if you want to get a hot dog and help a good cause, you can 25 cents goes to the Horseshoe Collective. And I believe they're donating like $100,000 off to the collective, off revenue from just hot dogs alone in 2024. So don't forget, in January, they're starting that deal when they get to 70 points, which would have been today. You get a hot dog and a soda for $2 at Jackson's. And stay tuned for more details on that. But that's coming up in January and February. $2 for a hot dog and a soda when the Broncos score 70 points. LeanFeastMeridian.com. Looking for some food, healthy food options, various diets, everything you're looking for. It's fully customizable. It's by the ounce, what you want, how much of it, what you want. LeanFeastMeridian.com. The website's wrong at the bottom. I got to fix that. LeanFeastMeridian.com. And it's all fully customizable. As I said, they now deliver anywhere in the Treasure Valley as well. So they deliver anywhere in the Treasure Valley, and any kind of 5 days in the refrigerator. So any kind of work you have or job or anything that keeps you away, or you need a quick lunch, pop it in the microwave, 2 minutes, and you're eating steak, shrimp, chicken, fish. Highly recommend the folks at Lean Feast, LeanFeastMeridian.com. We'll take your voicemails, postgame voicemails, speakpipe.com/BNN. Check them out, speakpipe.com/BNN. Signature Roofing is our sponsor, so if you want to leave us a voicemail, Signature Roofing is throwing in a $100 gift card to the Blue and Orange store. That's right, a $100 gift card to the Blue and Orange store for anybody that puts in a voicemail, and then every week or so we'll raffle those off. Signature Roofing, been covering our community for more than 20 years, whether it's a re-roof or repair, an inspection, free estimate. They can do it all for you. All your roofing needs. Make sure you hit up our sponsor, our roofing sponsor, Signature Roofing. They've got the deal with RJ Keene, and they believed in RJ Keene before he was a starter, and now he's a starting, and it's cool it's worked out that way. So we appreciate RJ Keene, and we appreciate Signature Roofing. All of our yearly subscribers, make sure you subscribe if you're on the fence. Great Fiesta Bowl coverage coming up. A lot of other great things we have going on. You can win the VIP basketball experience, round trip for 2 on a private jet from Boise to Las Vegas, 2 tickets to the game, 1-night hotel at Circa, a lot of other fun and shenanigans in Las Vegas for the night. So this is our 3rd year doing this. We appreciate Ridley's Family Markets for sponsoring this. Go support Ridley's Family Markets in Cuna, Middleton, Star, surrounding states, areas. Big sponsor in helping make this happen, Ridley's Family Markets. So if you're already a yearly subscriber, you're entered already. If you're not a yearly subscriber, you can just become one for $50 using that promo code at the bottom of the screen, BNN50 deal, and that gets you registered. And we'll do it in early January, and we'll just look at all yearly subscribers and pick one, put them in the wheel, and pick one, and that winner is going with us on the trip. So hope you're interested in that. We appreciate all of you for your subscriptions and your loyalty, and I know that hopefully the content is worth it itself, but it means a lot to us that you guys are subscribing and helping us out, and so we want to return the favor here. We'll have some giveaways for some gift cards and things, and the grand prize for our subscriber appreciation annual contest here will be this trip for 2 to Las Vegas for the game in February. So got to come in now, sign up now, and become a member so you're eligible to win. Again, quick look at the stats. Omar Stanley, 15 points, 6 rebounds. Tyson Degenhart, 19 points, 6 rebounds. Andrew Meadow, 14 points, 4 rebounds. He had 15 points, 12 assists for Alvaro Cardenas. You had 10 points for Javen Buchanan. The Broncos, 16 of 21 from the foul line. They shoot 29 of 54 for the game, 53.7% from the field. Air Force actually outshoots them, 54.8% from the field, but Boise State wins the rebounding battle 30-21. Won a lot of the other stats as well. 52 points in the paint for Boise State. They had a 21-9 advantage in points off turnovers, 12-4 advantage in second chance points, 10-3 in fast break points. Boise State led this game for 37 minutes and 30 seconds. Air Force led for 54 seconds, but Boise State able to, they're only up 1 at the half, pull away in the second half, and win by 18. And the Broncos, the Mountain West favorite, now are 1-0 in conference play. So a big win for Boise State. Big credit to Max Teams. The video work and a lot of the things he's doing behind the scenes deserves a lot of credit for that. But Boise State, by the way, big news with the recruit commit as well today, getting the 4-star kid out of Canada. That is a big-time get, and I know Boise State fans are excited about him, and I'm going to make sure I get the other schools that were involved with him earlier today. But Spencer Ahrens, his last name is Ahrens, Spencer Ahrens, and I know he had Gonzaga on his list. I know he had Illinois on his list, and they were coming after him hard. There were some other schools. I can't get my phone to load, but it was I think Washington, Stanford, there were some other schools in there as well. So that's a big-time get. 4-star player, top 100 player in the class, 6'9" kid who can stroke it from the outside, do a lot of different things. That is a big-time get for Boise State. Vincent's got 30-19 Boise State in the Fiesta Bowl, and he's asking what I have. That's probably about right. That's probably about right. I don't know. Maybe not quite 30-19, but I could see Boise State winning 30-24, something like that. I think Boise State's going to win. I do. I feel pretty confident, actually. I think Boise State, I wasn't super impressed with what I saw from Penn State, and the 10.5-point spread seems super high to me. I would have had it at 5 or 6. I think that's a little disrespectful to Boise State, to be honest, the 10.5-point spread. And if you watch the little video I put on Twitter, they're saying it should be 20 points is their actual spread they had. So I just, it's crazy to me. I think Boise State's a good team. I think it's a good matchup, and I'm excited for that game and to cover that and get down there for that. So, appreciate all you guys for checking us out. I have a story still to write, and then I've got my parents and my brother and his wife flying in tonight. So got to get moving here to get the story done and get home and get the house finished, cleaned up and ready. But appreciate all you guys for checking us out. Thank you for your subscriptions. If you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe at a minimum. Please hit that like button on this video. If you're watching on Facebook or Twitter or YouTube, subscribe to our channels. That is free. All these pre and post game shows are free of charge on YouTube and X, and that's because of our sponsors. So go support the sponsors if you can. Go get a Horseshoe Golden Ale at Western Collective. Go watch the Fiesta Bowl there. Our title sponsor, of course, roepaint.com, roepaint.com. And Of course, Jackson's our sponsor here on the postgame show. Whether it's a soda, whether it's some snacks, whether it's a hot dog, make sure you hit up Jackson's for all your needs here. And hope everybody has a great holidays. Appreciate all you guys. I think we will do a show on Monday, Monday the 23rd. We still will have a show on Monday to talk about the Fiesta Bowl and the matchup with Penn State. So Mike Prater and I, looks like Clemson maybe not done, maybe coming back a little bit. So I'll get off and check the score on that as well. But appreciate you guys. Thanks so much. Have a great rest of your weekend. I will be back on Monday morning at 9 a.m. for a show with Mike Prater. We'll talk a little hoops, some football. We'll have the final 8 left in the bracket. And we'll get you set for the quarterfinals coming up here in about 10 days or so. So thanks, guys. Have a great rest of your weekend. Go subscribe. Go to Jackson's. Visit all of our great sponsors. And we'll talk to you later. Bronco Nation News Live, the Jacksons Postgame Show from the Western Collective Studios here at Extra Mile Arena. Thanks in part to our title sponsor, RoPaint.com. For Jaden Finch, my name is BJ Rains. Thanks a lot. We'll talk to you guys Monday morning. Again, the final score, 77-59. Boise State 1-0 in conference play, and the Broncos will get a few days to rest for Christmas, and they'll be back at it next week against San Jose. 77-59, Boise State 1-0 in Mountain West play. We'll talk to you guys later. And I am back for a second because, as someone points out here, thank you, Mike. We forgot to give out the Matt Boucher Player of the Game. Luckily, we are still live. I apologize to Matt Boucher and everybody out there that was eagerly awaiting that. I got to give it to Cardenas. 12 assists, career high, 15 points, 12 assists. The Matt Boucher Real Estate Player of the Game is Alvaro Cardenas. 15 points, 12 assists, 2 steals, plus 18, played 39 minutes and 2 seconds. So Boucher Real Estate, check them out online, BoucherRealEstate.com. All your real estate needs. No home is too big or small for Matt and his team. Make sure you check them out, BoucherRealEstate.com. Our Boucher Real Estate Player of the Game is Alvaro Cardenas, 15 points, 12 assists. Thanks, guys. That'll do it for today's show. Again, 77-59 the final. We'll talk to you on Monday morning. Have a great rest of your weekend. This is Bronco Nation News Live, the Jacksons Postgame Show from Extra Mile Arena here at BroncoNationNews.com.